Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to another This Week at Bungie, aka TWAB. This is TWAB 22 of the Season of the Lost. We are just over a week out from the Witch Queen, and I'm very excited. I'm once again alongside G3 Tyrant.
Yo.
And Pistachio.
Moo. That was interesting.
So, and
I don't even know how to respond to
yeah,
that.
I don't even know. Like, what is this? One of those kids' toys? Or the cow goes moo. You just spin the wheel and it just goes to a different animal or something.
It's hilarious, nonetheless.
Yeah. We got a fairly short TWAB today, not too long, going over some of the Void 3.0 changes, the Legendary campaign, and some other goodies. I'm going to skip the Void 3.0 stuff here at the beginning, because instead of just reading what they have in the TWAB, where they just kind of go over a brief amount of the Void 3.0, we're just actually going to go over the entire Void 3.0 article that dropped. It's not super long, but it just has some more details for us, so I think it would be better for that. But to dive right in, let's just dive right into the Legendary campaign. They said some Guardians have been asking for more of a challenge, so the team here at Bungie has created a new Legendary campaign mode that will arrive when the Witch Queen drops later this month. From rewards drops and how they'll differ based on a base level, they wanted to dive in a little bit deeper as to what this new challenging experience has to offer, and to do that, we've got design lead Matt McConnell offering some insight and some frequently asked questions. So, they said, what are the main rewards of completing missions at Legendary difficulty? So, we've got double reward chests offering 1 to 3 extra chests per mission. Each chest will give you Whirlpool gear, XP, upgrade modules, and Glimmer. Legendary players will be able to earn Throne World armor and unlocks at a faster rate. And basically, the higher risk means a higher the reward, especially when getting the new power level soft cap in Witch Queen. So that sounds absolutely fantastic. I for one am interested in this Throne World armor because that sounds awesome, and I hope the design is awesome.
I'm always down for something that's fancy, so
yeah. Yes,
yeah, like if my drops aren't all focused on mobility and strength, yeah, I'm pumped.
Yeah, the Hunter, that's great. Warlock, not so much.
Yeah.
They said, are there any unique rewards for completing the story on Legendary difficulty? Yes, there is. There's a new emblem, exclusive to those who have completed the Legendary campaign. There's a triumph required for the newest title for the Throne World. A set of gear 20 above the soft cap at 1520 power level. This has been questioned and confirmed. They said it will drop a full set of blue 1520 gear with the purpose to infuse it into your already good armor, which will initially take you right to the soft cap. So you'll skip out on the entire blue grind if you just do the Legendary campaign. Fantastic.
Hey, you can get to the good stuff.
Yeah.
Not that like the campaign's gonna be bad, but you know, like you can prep yourself or get ready for the nightfalls and raids, and you can be right there in the action immediately.
Exactly. They said you also get 8 upgrade modules, new Witch Queen exotic armor that is typically reserved for Lost Sector drops. It says PED, Lost Sector drops. I guess that's just like, I'm not sure what the PED actually stands for. I'm drawing a blank. Anyone? Nobody?
I
Not a
can't help you on that
chance.
one. Sorry.
Yeah. I just assume it means like the lost sectors that you can obviously choose from, the Legendary and the Master lost sectors that you already farmed the exotics for regardless. I'm assuming that's what it is. But the new Witch Queen exotic armor can be found in the Legendary campaign. Fantastic. Exclusive Bungie rewards and more on that in the future. They're saying what kind of difficulty is to be expected. To set expectations, Legendary campaign is designed to be harder than a Legend Nightfall, though easier than a solo dungeon or running a Grandmaster Nightfall. Enemies are more difficult and more aggressive. They also have higher damage resistance and are more of a challenge to stagger. And shields are stronger to unmatched damage types. We'll see what that says against the Cartesian Gjallarhorn. I will challenge.
Or Telesto the best though.
You shoot the Telesto, all of a sudden the whole room just explodes, so we win. New glitch. The challenge of Legendary also comes from switching up enemy interactions and infiltrations, like swapping out an elite for a boss, or having an influx of more red bar foes. So, I think that's absolutely fantastic. I'm extremely excited. I feel like it should be fairly doable. I have soloed a few dungeons, even solo flawless one of them, and this sounds like it's right up my alley. I'm gonna go right for it off the bat. Like, it does sound like it's gonna be hard, but it's not. But it's definitely going to be worth the rewards. So
I'm all for it generally, just because I like replaying campaign missions. So.
Yeah, and yeah, bringing back the campaign replayability, I think, is absolutely fantastic. A lot of people have been asking for that, so I definitely like that. They said, can you overlevel for the content? So each mission caps your power, similar to raid contest mode, so that all guardians have an even playing field to avoid like every step is a grind. The mission launch screen will have a skull displaying each mission's max effective power, so if you are under level, be prepared for a bit of a tough fight. It says, the mightier the foe, forged in battle, but is it that way for solo players too? They've had a lot of aspirational content in the past year, but Legendary gives them a chance to give solo players more equal footing with those that opt into playing with a fire team. Enemy damage and health scales to match your fire team, though it won't be an exact 1-to-1 scale, because triple the boss health is not fun. Agreed. Even still, it will be enough to keep even a veteran trio on their ornamented toes. So that with the scaling, even if we go in as a 3, we got to expect a pretty solid fight. Harder, like they said, harder than a Legend Nightfall, but not quite a Grandmaster. So,
well, like you bring the Gjallarhorn, because like more than likely, it's not gonna care about shields. The Cartesian, I don't know. Once we lose this artifact thing, like I don't know if it's gonna shred through things, but like I'll bring the Wither Horde to deal with the excess enemies, and like we'll be fine. Jamal can bring 1,000 voices. Tyre can bring 1,000 voices. We're good.
Yeah.
Sounds like
I think we're fine.
We'll be
over
fine.
Damage, pelt them with damage. Never see it coming.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine, but it should be interesting nonetheless.
Agreed. They said they also didn't want to trivialize darkness encounters compared to solo play, so you're limited to 1 revive per player for each darkness zone, with a shared timer of 40 seconds before an automatic wipe happens. They've said it time and time again, but you have to stay close to your friends and be ready to pick them up when they fall. So we definitely need to be hoofing it together.
I mean, I don't know when we never do that, but okay.
Yeah. Says, will players be able to tone things down if Legendary is a bit too much for them in their playthrough? For those who find that the difficulty of Legendary is too overwhelming, there is an option to leave the mission and relaunch it through the classic Destiny 2 settings. Some players will want to focus more on the story instead of the sweat for the first run, and that's totally fine. They support that. So for those who want more of a challenge later, they've added nodes to replay any Witch Queen campaign mission on Classic or Legendary at any time, after you've beaten the mission once, of course. So basically, when it launches you in through the menu of like the actual settings in your Destiny app, or the game itself, it sounds like you'll be setting it to Legendary or normal, and then after you beat it, it'll become a toggleable little thing on the actual page, or like a node. So that's just, I guess, yeah, we want to make sure that we're on Legendary. I'm sure, although it'll like tell you like when you go into the screen if it's not Legend, it does have like the cool screen and all the extra modifiers, you know it's not Legendary. So they go on here to have this Hero's Welcome join millions and become legend. They said the Destiny community is one of the best in the gaming community, and they want to celebrate how incredible each and every Guardian is, whether it be the revived community-focused spotlights or the incredible charity initiatives like Guardians of the World, or player-driven initiatives like Operation Save New Lights. Through content, there's a lot to be thankful for when looking through the Destiny player base. One more way they're celebrating with the majesty is that all of you gun-toting fashionistas out there, there's a new series called Heroes Welcome, which is an ongoing video adventure that will focus on the players themselves in a vibrantly explosive tribute, as it's seen in the style of the kickoff video below. The first video is just the beginning, and in future updates and features, they will show directly real players within the community to bring your Destiny 2 legends to life as they aim to inspire new lights around the world. Up first, for example, is none other than Mansi. If the name sounds familiar, you may have seen a few Bungie developers share his epic impromptu Destiny raps on his stream. He kills it every time and never fails to bring the good feel vibes that he and his community have to offer. I did see that clip that they were talking about. Man's just grooving, having a good time in Trials, and I believe one of them was Trials, and the other one might have just been Crucible. But he was just rapping and just teeing off, like just teeing people with the sniper. It was pretty nice. So I do like that. I always love more community focused stuff and just showcasing how amazing this Destiny community really is. So I'm all for that. Moving on here, they said they heard we like exotics. These days, Destiny 2 has literally been a fashion show, so they're long past the days of pretending Destiny isn't a massive flex of gear and those who sweat and with the sweet dance moves. With more exotics on the way, they wanted to give us a sneak peek of some of the armor that's coming. So, we have the Lorely Splendor helmet for the Titans. It has the Cauterizing Flame perk that allows for sunspots to heal players when they have Sun Warrior. Critically wounded, no big deal. The perk also ensures that a sunspot is created in your location to give you one last fighting chance with that really quick grenade or melee recharge and long super. Plus more damage is always a good thing. They say from the developer team, playtest Stag Spot Helm. The goal here was to embrace the awesome art and to give Sunspot players another choice besides Phoenix Cradle. Also, melee builds are becoming more popular, and this makes the higher level difficulty melee more viable, at least in theory. So, yeah, that sounds good to me. Like, you get the Sunspot immediately on your feet, so that's amazing, and you can throw them, obviously, give them to your teammate or whatnot, and it brings the health back plus more damage. Plus recharge, like, I don't see, like, that just sounds all good to me.
Meta. Period.
Yeah, like that's, I don't know. Sounds a little stacked.
Well, we'll just wait till you hear some of the rest of them. The Titans Hoarfrost Z chest piece is also nothing to scoff at. This one takes a chillier approach to combat for stasis users with the Glacial Fortification perk. When a player uses stasis, it allows for the Titan's Barricade to become an impressive wall of stasis crystals. These crystals will slow any target that gets too close, while also boosting a player and the fire team's weapon reload speed, stability, and range.
Wow, what the? Okay.
Yeah, so it's basically a stasis rally barricade.
Barricade, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yep.
And we're slowing targets? Like, wild.
So with the sexy stasis build, with all the crystals that you're going to be popping, that could be really good.
It's too bad I don't own Beyond Light, so it's all good.
Well, for the Warlocks, we have the new Second Filaments armor. It's these new boots that has a Devouring Rift perk. The Shining Walking Sticks of Power will grant a player Devour whenever they cast their Empowering Rift, allowing for both damage for both allies and the individual player, and the ability to disrupt foes, but in style. So not only are you getting the Empowering Rift, you're also going to get Devour immediately, so you can heal upon all your kills. So you get the damage boost, and you can keep chaining those heals. That sounds awesome.
That is questionable.
Why?
I feel like that's gonna get annoying in Crucible, but
We'll find out.
yeah.
Next up, we have the Osmeo Mansi Gauntlets for the Warlock with the Fervid Cold Snap perk. This allows the Cold Snap grenade to have an additional charge that will recharge faster when it makes direct impact. The Seeker spawned from the Cold Snap grenades also travels further too. You also get an additional Cold Snap grenade.
Yeah, that just sounds mad annoying for Crucible, period. Oh.
Mm-hmm. Well, like, I didn't really use the Cold Snap grenade, so...
Yeah, because they nerfed it to the ground by the time you got used to playing Crucible at all. So, I mean, this sounds like vanilla basis Cold Snap all over again.
Kind of. So, like, we'll have to keep an eye on it, right? For the Hunters, we have the Blight Ranger Helm with the Voltaic Mirror perk. Lightning lovers, here is where your arc powers can truly shine. This perk allows players to redirect with their arc staff to deal an increased amount of damage and orbs of power generation for allies. Basically, get in there, do some damage. Sounds like a good time. Yeah, this one was what they showed off in one of the trailers when he reflected one of the Titan's hammers, and it reflected it back at three of the Titans, the Titan and two of his teammates, and it killed all three of them with the explosion. So, depending on how strong that redirect damage is, this could be very beneficial for like neutralizing some bosses, like some like ogres that are just going to like spew stuff at you. If I could just pop in front of him and just reflect his own blast back at him and it just destroys him, that would be absolutely incredible.
I mean, essentially just makes you a tank now, so
a little bit, right?
I think that'll definitely be interesting.
And lastly, for the Hunters, we have the Renewal Grasps. These gives the Guardians the Depths of Duskfield perk that allows a much larger radius for the Duskfield grenade, which we also already get
a Duskfield buff?
We also get that from an aspect right now already. So, woo, you better be ready for a whole dome, baby. One thing's gonna be bigger than the Titan bubble.
Map a dome of ice.
It's gonna be bigger than the Titan bubble. But check this too. It not only does it nerf incoming damage for allies within the Duskfield. So if I throw it on us, it reduces the damage we take. But any target locked within the space also deals out reduced damage. So go out there and make the hive cry. So if I throw it on them, not only does it slow them, they're also going to do reduced damage too. And if I happen to be caught in it, like if I just throw it at my feet and I'm in a duel with both of us in there, I'm taking less damage, they're doing less damage, and they're slowed. It's like I basically, if I don't win that fight,
they're making everybody versatile now.
A little bit. I very much like that. That sounds fun. So, moving on here. They say the Witch Queen release schedule, which we know on February 21st, is going to be at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On the February 21st, the day before Witch Queen, is going to be brought offline. Preload will become available at 9 p.m. Pacific or midnight Eastern Standard Time. Then on February 22nd at 9 a.m. Pacific or noon Eastern Standard Time, Destiny will be brought back online. And at 11 a.m. Pacific and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Destiny maintenance is scheduled to complete. However, that doesn't mean that Destiny is not going to be up until 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 11 a.m. It's just that's the extended backend maintenance that's always on. The servers will be up at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon. Obviously expect to go into a queue. They have over 1 million pre-orders already, they said, for the Witch Queen, so I expect a massive queue regardless of what you're playing on. They said players using the PS4 download of the Destiny 2 will be required to download the associated Ps4 Compatibility Pack. These packs can be downloaded by launching Destiny 2 after preloading the hotfix 4.0.0.1 during the downtime period. Once the packs have started downloading, players should subsequently close Destiny 2 to speed up their downloads. The download for the PS4 will be large, but players will have a similar installation size once the download is complete. This should help improve the download and install of future PS4 patches. For Bungie rewards, they're taking extended downtime prior to Witch Queen, as the players looking to earn the following rewards should complete them before February 21st, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 Eastern Standard Time Pacific. The And Out Fly the Wolves pin, the Strange Coin, the Moments of Triumph 2021 t-shirt, which I just ordered, the Beyond Light Artifact coin set, the Tachyon hoodie, the Aegir's Scepter beanie, and the Deadeye, Realmwalker, Fate Breaker, Splintered, Descendant, and MMXXI seal collectible medallion pins. Also, those who have completed the associated in-game achievements for any of the above rewards will have until February 28th to purchase their rewards through the store's website. The Twitch gift subs bounty rewards are coming back. They will be updated with the Witch Queen, and players are looking to obtain the current Dreisgeist emblem should complete the Twitch gift sub bounty and claim the reward before the scheduled downtime on February 21st at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. They said the weapon cycling in the Year 4 content vault, as they usually do. There's a list of known issues. There is the movies of the week, as there always are. The fantastic artists of the week as well. And that brings us to the end of this section. And we're going to move on now, essentially back to the beginning of the TWAB. But we're going to take a closer look at the Void 3.0 with the actual Void 3.0 blog post. So, let me take a sip of water before I dive into this, please. All right. It says here, with the Witch Queen expansion for Destiny 2, Guardians will face unparalleled threats, from exploring the seat of Savathun's power, her mysterious and nefarious throne world, to facing the Lucent Brood, hive enemies capable of wielding the light. Players will be tested in ways they've never been challenged before. It's a good thing that we're getting the Void update that they're calling Void 3.0, and the first overhaul in Destiny 2's elemental powers to come in Year 5. Look for arc and solar changes in the future. It said Void abilities haven't really developed since 2017, and they were a reaction to the sandbox that was in Destiny 1. Destiny designer Kevin Yanes with the Void 3.0 and other element changes to come soon. The team had set a goal that they wanted to obtain and bring these classic elemental powers in line with the challenge level and balance of today's sandbox, as well as strengthen the overall fantasy that is at the heart of each playstyle. They're trying to codify each of the damage types so that each element has its own world of gameplay that it's dominant over. Yanes says, for example, stasis is the domain of crowd control. So we looked at what Void about what thematically and mechanically. Void is about gravity, it's about space, it's about the cosmic. That means they want things to feel like you're shooting black holes and dragging people in. There's a lot of personality that they can draw from that, and they can create cool mechanics. So the first big Void 3.0 change is the introduction of aspects and fragments. First introduced with Stasis and Beyond Light, the aspects and fragments give players more of an option to choose from when it comes to the abilities that they want to use in battle. As with Stasis, aspects are class-specific selectable items that give players an additional actions that they can perform with the elemental subclass. Fragments are non-class specific complementary perks that players can select to enhance how they play the game, and players can choose to combine their aspects and fragments in a key component to build crafting their Guardian. They said with the team developing the new aspects of Void 3.0, they worked hard to center them around new actions and verbs so that it could define everything. These verbs manifest themselves in the form of new actions for players to use in the heat of battle. So the new actions such as the Trapper's Ambush will find the Hunter diving and slamming into the ground, weakening enemies and causing nearby allies to become temporarily invisible. The Titans will be able to grant barriers to allies, and Warlocks will be able to summon entities from beyond the Void to help turn the tide of battle. They said none of that was available before Witch Queen, The old Void subclass Diamond was rooted around a melee augment, a super augment, and then 2 passives. What they've done is essentially added 2 new sections. Yes, you still get your melee, you still get your super, but now you get 2 new things that either plus up your existing kit or gives you something you didn't have before. So they want to talk more about the actual terms that they're going to be using. So they want to say suppress. So suppress is the target is taken out of any active ability when suppressed, and while suppressed, the target cannot activate any abilities or movement modes. Combatants are disoriented. So it's essentially what they already are. They're just kind of going over these terms for those that didn't know about them. So we have weaken. The target takes increased damage, has slowed movement, and is disoriented. Volatile. The target will explode in a void detonation upon taking additional damage. If the target dies before the volatile has taken enough damage to detonate, the detonation happens anyways. Invisibility. The player vanishes from sight and does not appear on the radar. Overshield. The players gain a protective barrier that immediately stacks on top of their existing health and shields and intercepts incoming damage. Overshield reduces the damage taken from PvE combatants. Devour. The player is immediately restored to full health upon activating Devour from any source and is granted grenade energy. When the player gets any kill with Devour active, they are restored to full health, granted grenade energy, and their Devour buff timer is extended. So now they want to move on to the individual classes. And up first, we're starting with the Titans.
The best one.
So, a Void-enabled Titan is a stalwart shield of a fire team. Whether serving up the Ward of Dawn protective bubbles to withstand furious enemy assaults, or charging the battlefield shield in hand, mowing opponents down, one shield toss at a time. Previously, the 2 supers, Ward of Dawn and Sentinel Shields, were tied to one another from a control standpoint, so that the Titans had to use a similar input and sit through a chunk of the Sentinel Shield activation animation before the Ward bubble was created. So the Titan's new Ward of Dawn bubble has been moved to it's basically an instant activation now. It's been moved to the fastest super cooldown tier, making it more available to the Titan when needed. This change made it a better reactionary defensive tool, said the designer, Mike Humboldt. So as an example, if a hunter were to jump at you and cast a Blade Barrage, the Titan can now pretty reliably activate a Ward of Dawn before any of the super lands and survive as a result. So it's basically instantaneous as soon as when you pop that bubble now.
That's about time, honestly. Like that's one of those about damn time. So yeah.
Yeah. I like that, and the fact that it's down to the fastest super cooldown, so you get it back really quick too. Like that's just great,
I mean,
because that's what
I'm gonna main
the bubble's
it
for.
because the bubble has always been pretty strong in certain instances, and like when it goes down to a sudden death or you're locking down a lane, and I'm a pulse rifle guy, so I'm gonna be rocking bubble like crazy.
Yeah. They said, just as before, Sentinel Shield will allow Titans to traverse the battlefield, bashing foes with their Void Shield or tossing their shield as melee attacks. Thrown shields will damage opponents and apply Volatile if Controlled Demolition is equipped, which I'm guessing is one of the aspects or fragments.
So it's basically whatever the middle class was doing to detonate, to mark, and then you kill them and then they detonate.
Yes. While Shield Bash kills will grant a full Overshield. So you get like a combination of all of it.
That sounds really strong.
Yeah.
I wonder how that's going to work in 66 control and Iron Banner, because Jesus.
You just
sounds
go
really
in,
powerful.
just kill everybody with the shield bounce and get Overshields too. Oh good.
Sounds
Another Titan
really
with an Overshield.
Sounds really, really strong.
They said there are 3 Titan aspects to choose from with Void 3.0. We have Controlled Demolition. Hitting a target with a Void ability or volatile detonation will make them volatile. Bastion. Casting a barricade generates overshields for yourself and nearby allies. those bunkering behind the shield will regenerate Overshield over time and extend the Overshield's duration.
That's nasty.
An offensive bulwark. While you have an Overshield or are inside the Ward of Dawn, grenade charges significantly faster and you have increased melee damage. You also gain an additional shield to throw for your Sentinel Shield super.
Wow, okay. I like it.
Void 3.0 is...
How many things are we allowed to have on?
Okay, those are the three aspects. So depending on how it works, the cost, you get potentially 2 of these at a time. Right?
Sounds really strong, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. For the Hunter. Hunters prioritize in movement and stealth in the heat of battle, whether it's enjoying a few moments of tactical recalibration in a tense encounter by briefly vanishing after a dodge, or dodging an attack, or setting snares and traps to disorient and slow their opponents. A fight with a Hunter is always a study in agility, surprise, and deadly precision.
I don't appreciate you doing all the finesse because it's your class. I want you to, keep it across the board here.
Yeah, right? Like, let's just say it straight. Hunters run away when they're, like...
I was reading the paragraph, okay?
No. Yeah, no, let's be honest here. Hunters just run and hide.
Yeah, alright.
We use our mobility to our advantage.
Thank you.
In addition to the Spectral Blades super, the Shadow Shot variants that the Hunters are accustomed to, Deadfall and Mobius Quiver, will still be found in the Void 3.0, though there are some changes to be aware of. For example, the Mobius Quiver will fire volleys of 3 arrows that will now track targets and make them volatile if they are tethered. In addition, with Deadfall, the Void Anchors that are dropped after Shadow Shot will now pull enemies towards it and when it impacts a surface or a target. I like that. The Hunter's Snare Bomb melee ability will now weaken opponents. In PvP, players caught in a Snare Bomb will have their HUD removed and obscuring screen effect applied for a short period of time. Dope. The Snare Bomb melee is weakening the opponent is actually really awesome because that's almost what Oppressive Darkness did. You threw a Void Grenade and it basically debuffed the enemy, giving you like a 30% buff. So if Weaken does the same thing, it weakens the enemy, so to essentially debuff the enemy. I basically have a free Oppressive Darkness smoke grenade. So this is kind of what it sounds like. So I like that. The 3 aspects the Hunters will have to select from are the Trapper's Ambush. Players can activate Quickfall to spend their melee charge and dive to the ground, creating a smoke cloud upon impact. Enemies caught in the cloud are weakened, and allies become invisible. In addition, snare bombs, upon attaching to surfaces or enemies, cause nearby allies to become invisible. Awesome. The Vanishing Step. Dodging makes the Hunter invisible. So that's just still our thing. Okay. Just straight up. Just straight up. But that's like
still do that.
So that's an aspect though, so that's interesting. So I mean, if we don't have that aspect, I won't go invisible upon dodging now, which was a specific trait to one of the Void classes. It was either the smoke bomb or that, so that's understandable.
Like, you still gonna be able to reload on dodge? Like, where's this at?
Well, that's a solar ability, so.
Well, that's no, that's just my other dodge in general. So I should have access to that. Yeah, that's just my marksman's dodge. So.
All right, let's hope you don't do that anymore.
Well, you should. So we should still have the choice between that or the gambler's dodge, where we instantly get back our melee. It should still be the same thing.
No, I'm good. I don't want you to have it.
Or the Stylus Executioner. Defeating a void debuffed target, either weakened, suppressed, or volatile, grants invisibility and true sight. While invisible and after a Stylus Execution, your next melee weakens enemies. So I think I'm going to be going Stylus Executioner and Trapper's Ambush because I can still go invisible with my smoke bombs and all that, and I can get them all weakened, suppressed, volatile, all that good stuff. So again, I'm very much liking this Void 3.0. Moving on to the Warlocks.
The scum of the universe.
The infinite mysteries of the universe are the playgrounds of warlocks. When they aren't
See, they already said the universe, and I said the universe. See,
See?
they're scums.
When they aren't nose deep in an ancient text, warlocks are floating across the battlefield, healing allies and creating havoc amongst their foes. Void 3.0 fine-tunes these powers, and the warlock's new aspect will, among their new abilities, summon a brand new type of support from the yawning void of space-time. The Nova Warp Super lets warlocks quickly teleport from one spot to the next, and players can choose to let loose with a deadly void eruption. With the Vortex Super enhancement, a player's Nova Bomb will now draw enemies into the singularity it creates, damaging them once inside. Casting a Nova Bomb with the Cataclysm enhancement will cause it to travel across the battlefield and seek out enemies. Detonations will shatter into smaller seeking projectiles, and shooting the Nova Bomb will cause it to detonate early. The Warlock's melee Pocket Singularity fires an unstable ball of void energy that detonates when it nears enemies, pushing them away from the blast and making them volatile. According to Destiny designer Mike Humboldt, he expects this melee to find particular use in Crucible. They do a lot of PvP testing, and knocking somebody who is trying to shotgun rush you off the map with a Pocket Singularity is always a good time. That sounds funny. Not to the probably the Titan that was coming out with a shotgun, sliding in and whatnot. So, the new aspects that the Warlock are going to get are the Chaos Accelerant. You hold down the grenade button to overcharge your Vortex, Axion Bolt, Scatter, and Magnetic Grenades. Magnetic Grenades overcharge into handheld Supernova. There's Feed the Void, defeating an enemy with a Void ability to activate Devour. And Child of the Old Gods, which is still one of the coolest freaking names ever.
I don't understand how you get all these cool sounding things.
Right? Cast your Rift to summon a Void Soul. When you damage an enemy with your weapon, your Void Soul will launch itself towards them and detonate nearby, attaching draining tendrils, which will deal damage and weaken the target. When your Void Soul deals damage, it restores either melee or grenade energy if running Healing Rift, or health if running Empowered Rift, back to you. Defeating an enemy who is being drained grants Rift energy. Holy fuck.
That sounds like a lot, man.
So
Jesus.
like, fuck Chaos Accelerant with the holding the grenade to overcharge any of it. You put on the Feed the Void, so you get your Devour at all times. You put this on with your Empowering Rift, so you get the Empowering Rift buff. Plus the Devour gets you your health back. On top of the Empowering Rift gets you your health back with the Void Soul. Then you get your Arc Buddy to come in and cast his thing, so you get that little Arc Buddy. And then you pop out the No Time to Explain, and you got triple buddy action.
Yeah, I'm just a little confused then, like, I guess that new exotic's kind of just taking whatever the final aspect there, sort of, or like combining two of them.
It essentially combines Child of the Old God with Feed the Void, yeah, because it gives you the Empowering Rift that grants you Devour, and Devour heals you. So it's kind of a mixture of the both. So it's pretty crazy. So
yeah, a little confused on that.
I like that, but man. I might be playing Warlock a bit more than I'm willing to admit here right now, because some of their stuff is sounding super cool. And whenever I played on the Warlock, I was always a Void Warlock. So like, yeah.
Titans for life.
They said to complement their class-specific aspects, Void 3.0 will also introduce a number of new fragments, which offer new perks to build upon, as well as add bonuses or penalties to your Guardian's intrinsic stats. Here's a look at a few of the new fragments to come. Echo of Expulsion. Void ability kills cause the enemies to explode. Grants an intellect bonus. Echo of Provision. Damaging an enemy with grenades grants melee energy. Comes with a strength penalty. Echoes of Domineering. After suppressing a target, gain greatly increased mobility for a short duration, and your equipped weapon is reloaded from reserves. And there's a discipline bonus.
Ooh. Okay.
And then there's Echo of Undermining. Void grenades weaken enemies, and it comes with a discipline penalty. Okay, that's straight up Oppressive Darkness.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
That's literally Oppressive Darkness. That's exactly what it did. So, and they turned that was an artifact perk that was just OP, and everyone based their damage around for that season. And they just actually just made it a fragment in the game. That's awesome. Or an aspect, sorry. I know it is fragment, sorry. It is fragment. I keep get them mixed up sometimes. So, that's awesome. That's just 4 of them though. Right now, obviously there's more. And they'll get more into that. They said another significant change for the Void 3.0 is that all subclasses will have access to all Void grenade types in the game. For example, as a hunter, I'll be able to run with the suppressor or magnetic grenades instead of choosing between just Void Spike, Void Wall, or Vortex. In addition, some grenades will see upgrades. For example, the lingering field created by the Vortex grenades will now suck enemies into it. For players that have played Destiny before the Witch Queen expansion, will have access to all Void 3.0 aspects and most of the fragments with the launch of Witch Queen. Several fragments will be available after the completion of the world's first raid. New Destiny 2 players will earn their aspects and fragments as part of the new light game experience. Across all these abilities, tweaks, new powers, building crafting options, one theme is clear: the team behind Void 3.0 is focused on giving Guardians the chance to fulfill the fantasy of their chosen class by giving them ample opportunity to do what that class does best. As Dunn puts it, we've built out multiple ways for the player to access and key off their core verbs. It says, for example, Dunn said the Titan has several ways to earn and extend overshields in a fight. Use the Bastion aspect to create a barricade to grant overshield to you and your allies. The Sentinel or the Shield Throw melee can grant overshield, as does the Void Shoulder Charge. Oh, what do you know? Titans with more overshield access. Huh, who'd have thought?
I did.
With the overshield, the Titan also gets increased grenade recharge and melee damage. As a result of these new building craft options, players can double, even triple dip into these verbs, like Overshield for Titans or Invisibility for Hunters. As Dunn sums it up, it means you can do the things that your class is supposed to do all the time. So that means I can just be invisible all the time. You're basically just going to rock an Overshield all the time. Warlocks are just going to fall off the map because they can't jump all the time. It's crazy.
What a subtle shot that was. Jeez. A little unnecessary, but okay. We took it there.
It happens. It happens. I'll be dealing with it because I definitely want to try out some of these new Warlock abilities that sound super fun. But that does it for the Void update. And I just want to go back to the bottom of the TWAB here, just in case they have one little last thing to go through. They said not the beefiest TWAB this week, but there was a bunch of good stuff. Seeing the excitement from the Vidoc was a whirlwind and causing a rush of joy and excitement as completely taken over the studio. They can't wait to show and tell us more. One light TWAB left until the Witch Queen arrives, and then it's about to go down. Are you ready? Yes, I am. I am freaking excited. I am so freaking excited. I've been excited for the Witch Queen. Every trailer I see gets me more excited for the Witch Queen. I watched the Vidoc, and I couldn't contain my excitement. I blew up this man's phone and told him and demanded he watch the Vidoc because I was so freaking excited. So I'm ready. Like, I need this game now. I need the expansion right now. So I know next week we're going to get the final. We should get the final conclusion of the season. Apparently it's been leaked out online. I haven't seen any leaks, nor am I going to try to find them. I'm going to keep it all fresh for when I play it, but be wary. There are leaks for the final mission of the season, so just keep notes of that out there. But that'll do it. Any final thoughts here, fellas?
Matt, you got any?
No.
Just mostly about the Void 3.0. Like, I was gonna ask, like, how is this gonna be distributed? How do we obtain the aspects and fragments? But I guess that answers everything.
Yeah, they're basically just giving to you. You should get everything. Then a few after the once the raid is done, it sounds like we'll get the rest of them. And then after that, I don't know. Either they just add them in. That could be a quest, but it doesn't seem like we're going to be farming them or anything like we did with Stasis. So.
Yeah, I mean, overall, like, I really like the changes with Void 3.0. It sounds very exciting, especially for me as a Titan main who likes to have Overshield.
Yeah.
I'm still tempering my expectations, obviously, because I've been away from the game for quite a bit, and I don't know. I just feel like Bungie's doing what Bungie does and hypes it, and then the honeymoon phase is over in the first 2 weeks, and we're just like, yeah, this was great. So I feel like they're putting a lot of pressure on themselves, especially with how they're going about boosting how the campaign is going to be like. I guess, did they say God of War type levels and stuff like that?
They
like,
compared it to the campaign to that of God of War. So they said it's one of the longest campaigns they've ever done.
So I hope that it can stand up to that, because that is quite the statement to be making. In terms of just loot and gear and stuff like that, the new exotics sound great. I was kind of hoping to see a little bit more in terms of like helping the Void 3.0 build and stuff, and I'm sure there's more exotics and stuff out there that'll do that.
There's more than exotics than obviously that they just showed. There's quite a new bit of nuance, and I think they said there's like 60 new legendary weapons. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of loot coming.
And then the other thing too is like, when are we going to get the next 3.0 update for our light-based subclasses? Because I feel like the Void thing, if you sit on it for too long, it's gonna grow stale really fast. If they do it like season per season, that'd be great. But I would assume that's a little bit too much to do within such a short amount of time.
Sorry, do what season?
Well, not like release the new subclasses, like the new 3.0, like
that's
Arc and Solar.
What's supposed to be. So like the season after this one, so this is season of the Risen that's coming out with the Witch Queen. So the season after that, we're supposed to get Solar or Arc, and then the season after that, we're supposed to get the other one. Like they've already been
we're getting a
working
complete rework this entire year.
This year, we're getting the rework of all of them. It's not like we wait till next year to get the Arc, and then the year after to get. All three of them are coming this year. Yeah.
I do feel like that's a little ambitious, just for the fact that they're gonna do the 3.0 Void, and then I'm assuming there's gonna changes are gonna need to be made, because like some of the stuff is gonna come out way overpowered.
I agree.
I mean, like they always do.
But they've also been working
so then
on
like
all
I
of them
feel like
at the same time. They're just choosing to put Void first. Like, just because they're choosing to put Void first doesn't mean they haven't put the same amount of time into the Arc one. It could just be they're choosing to launch it first.
But that's what I mean. Like they'll make changes to the Void in the season after it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like then dropping Arc at that time would then conflict in their numbers of, were our Void changes worth it? Because then they're also gonna have to look at at what's overpowered in Arc, and then make changes from there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a little ambitious season after season, but I would like it.
You.
I'm not saying don't do it, but maybe take what you learned from the Void 3.0 and put it into the adjust the other ones before they're dropped.
Yeah, like if they need to push it back a season, by all means, push it back a season or whatever. Yeah, I
but that's why I was of the mindset that if they were going to do this subclass update, they should have just launched all three and try and tackle as much as they can at a very slow rate throughout the year, because look how long it took for them to rein in Stasis, and it's just one subclass.
I agree.
So,
but
I mean, we could be facing the same thing where the Void is out of hand at launch, and then they try and rein it in. And remember, they nerfed Stasis to holy hell.
Yep.
And then, it had to go back up a bit again to come back down again to finally stay where it's at now. So it's What I'm afraid of happening is they obviously right now Void sounds like it's going to be ridiculously strong. So once Arc and Solar make their debut, what happens if they've already nerfed the Void down so badly that now is the Arc and Solar launch as strong as it's supposed to be, or did you just make the last subclass a piece of crap and now you have to bump it back up again? I just again, this is going to create such a massive influx in PvP that I don't think people realize that having your subclasses just pounded month after 3 months after 3 months after 3 months and within the seasons, it's gonna create a massive influx, and you can't get any real concrete data of what is gonna be meta going forward or what is gonna be overpowered going forward. But I am not a developer, this is just my opinion, but I just see the threat of this coming to mostly the Crucible and not so much PvE.
Mm-hmm. One counterpoint I'll make to that, opposed to the Stasis, is Stasis was a brand new bag of worms. It was a brand new thing to the game, a whole new ability with the freezing and the slowing, which just opened up a whole other kind of shitstorm. They've already been dealing with Void, Arc, and Solar since the game came out, essentially, right? They already know what it does and can't do, so I feel it's easier for them to make adjustments if need to. And obviously everything that's been built right now has obviously been built in mind with what happened with Stasis and what they've learned from the whole Stasis debacle when it being nerfed a dozen different times, right? So it's not like it shouldn't be something new for them to deal with in a sense, while like Stasis is like it's a brand new thing to interact with everything that they've already built. It's not like Void is something that's now brand new to interact with everything. The base foundation of Void stuff has already been there. The weaken, the volatile, the suppress, that's already been in the game, right? So I feel like it would be less of a problem for them to deal with, but nonetheless, yeah, 3 months is not a lot of time to get full feedback to really adjust something properly. So it might be a little bit too ambitious to drop it one at a time. Maybe wait like 2 seasons in between them or so. It's not. I don't think they need to be
maybe
year
launching
dropped.
it was a good idea, like all of them together.
But that also could just be even worse than what you would want, right? Because it's instead of dealing with one thing that has a problem, you're now dealing with 3 different things that have a problem, and it's going to take that much longer for them to all get dealt with instead of the one at a time.
I hear your point on that, and I know there's like, again, this is like a double-edged sword. There's no possible right way to do this, right? Like it's going to be a point of contention regardless of how they went about doing it. It's just, I like to just rip off the Band-Aid approach, give everything to the general public, and just let them break everything as much as possible so they know where to, because the only thing that happens once you release everything all at once, only the most meta things are going to shine. So it's like, okay, we can deal with the absolute meta and game-breaking things immediately, and then worry about reining stuff in and making sure everything is balanced accordingly, right? So that was my only thing, right? Because now we also know that Bungie's slow in terms of buffs and nerfs.
A lot faster now.
I mean, they're faster than they've been.
Past, so.
And I'll definitely give credit where credit is due. They've been a lot more responsive in terms of dealing with broken things and whatnot. But again, it could still last you an entire season before they actually rein something in and fix it. Right? So, or it could even bleed over into the next halfway through the next season before it's actually fixed, and they already have a new can of worms to deal with because now Arc or Solar is just completely unbalanced. So,
yeah,
that's all I'm saying within that regard. Because in all honesty, when you really think about this Void 3.0, it's literally just your subclass getting cranked to a 200.
Yeah,
right. So
really, it is.
sky's the limit at this point with what's going to happen with the subclass, and it it may end up becoming stasis. Like, even though they've already gotten used to dealing with Void, Arc, and Solar over the course of like the lifespan of Destiny, doing it this way is going to really open up a new can of worms and
Absolutely.
create a whole new identity for the subclasses in themselves. Like, they're not going to be Code of the Aggressor and Code of the Protector and all and attunements and all that. Like, you're just completely going to be, I am Void, I am Arc, right?
Yes.
And you're basically merging like three subclasses into one build.
Yeah.
Right. So
They are.
it's going to be an interesting thing for them to tackle. I'm not saying they're incapable, but it's definitely going to. I feel like the growing pains might be a little overwhelming for the player base, just coming off of stasis and was just dealing with a whole lot of foolishness within that regard.
Yeah.
So they have to play this really, really carefully, in my opinion. You don't want to create that stasis fatigue again. And a lot of people, wanted to quit Destiny and walk away from the game, and it was just overbearing. So
yeah, a lot of
they got to be very careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all for me on this one.
All right. Sashio, you got anything you'd like to add?
Yo, I just want Warlocks to be able to jump and shoot in every subclass.
Especially jump.
Like, well, yeah, but like, regardless of the fact, like, yo, come on, man.
You want that?
I command the universe here, like, yeah,
Come on, man.
yo, let's be honest, it doesn't even help that much because half the time the spread on the bullets is just ridiculous. So like, yo, let me float and shoot with everything.
Floating and shooting. Come on, man.
Hey, let me just be a fucking floating whatever target in the sky and be absolutely destroyed.
And then you'll have something new to complain about.
Not like, honestly, it's my favorite thing about using the Solar Warlock. But yeah.
All right. Well, that does it then for TWAB 22. Hope everybody has enjoyed, and if you could, it'd be absolutely wonderful if you hit that like button, and please do consider subscribing to the channel for more content in the future. But again, hope everybody's enjoyed it. This has been another long one, but a lot of good stuff. So have yourselves an absolutely wonderful day, and as always, stay hydrated, as hydration is key.
Oh, sorry. G3 time. Out. Peace.
Peace.